Today I'm going to be reviewing the generic cabinet Arcooda Pinball Arcade software. This is the Pinball Arcade set of 76 of the Farsight Studios tables that they're basically no longer. Farsight Studios has lost the license to them, so they're not able to sell them anymore, except apparently for these copies that are already made. So once they're sold out, they're gone. And yeah, it's now March 15th, 2022, so you're still able to get these tables, even though they weren't allowed to sell them after June 30th of 2018. So here's my V-pin setup. First, I've got a 40-inch Samsung TV. It's actually a 2007 model, so it's a little bit old. I've got a 24-inch monitor for the back glass, a At Games Legends Gamer Pro for my controls, and I've got an Arcade Dragon's Lair bottom for holding my controls. And you can see I have my TV on an incline on the what's called the transforming TV stand that I got from Buy Stuff Arcades. That's a great product. I recommend that. So first I want to show you how I have my software set up, or my system in general. You can see here I've got 4 monitors. The 40-inch TV is number 1, and number 2 is the back glass. 3 and 4 are for my PC, which is over here across the room. And I've got 25-foot HDMI cables running from that computer to these TV and monitor. So the first thing I always do, I do this every day, is I change my primary monitor to be the pinball playfield number 1 here. So I'm going to click on that. Oh, so by the way, something I'm using here, I'm using this RII wireless keyboard. It's very handy for using my keyboard remotely. I've also got another full-size keyboard and a mouse here, but I hardly ever use them. But anyway, I'm going to change this to be my primary display. Oh, well, I guess I already did that. And then the next thing I do is change my sound to be the TV instead of my Realtek speakers. So I'll change that to Samsung on the NVIDIA. Oh, a little background information. My computer is it's a Dell XPS. I don't know which model. Got it in the end of 2019, and I think I only paid like either $500 or $600. I don't know. It was a good Black Friday kind of pickup on a gaming PC. So anyway, that's what I'm using. Now the software itself comes with 2 flash drives. The one is a flash drive with the software you install from, and the other is basically a hardware dongle called the Sentry USB, and that just has to remain plugged in. It's kind of like your proof that you bought the software and you're not running a copy of it. So that has to be in there at all times when you're running it, but not the original software that gets installed to your hard disk. Let's see. Let me go to the folder that I have this in. Okay, so you'll see there's 2 main EXEs, the PBA config and Pinball Arcade cabinet. I'm going to open up the PBA config. So this looks pretty much like if you already have Pinball Arcade on Steam, which I actually also do, but I don't have the tables, most of the tables. I do have the Gottlieb ones, but not the Williams, because I didn't have this gaming, like I said, I got it in 2019, and that was after that they, Farsight, lost the license to sell those Williams and Bally tables. So I don't have those on Steam, so rather than buying the $149 Steam key to unlock cabinet mode, I went and purchased the full package, the $499 package, for which includes the 76 tables. I did actually have several of these tables on my tablet, which I bought before that June 30th, 2018 date. But anyway, I wanted to have them on this as well. So I've got this set up as full screen 1080 by 1920. If you go to the DX911 tab, I think the only thing I changed here was I set the window mode to full screen. And if you go to the cabinet tab, now they let you, they let you pick whether you have 2 or 3 monitors, and you can actually use either, even though you only have 2 monitors, because I only have 2, but I prefer to pick the 3 monitor setup. The reason being, if you pick the 2 monitors, or the 2 drop down, it still lets you fill out the DMD coordinates, but they're basically useless. You can put anything in for those if you do that, because what you get is the full screen with the DMD in it as one thing, and it's all sized according to your back glass coordinates. However, since these are just coordinates and you don't pick a specific monitor, the way they work is just like, if you're familiar with Pinball FX, it's just like that as far as how you know the coordinates of your screens, because you have to go back to here, your Windows setup. Let me see if I can Alt-Tab to that. Oh, I gotta go back to the display. So here I got my 4 screens. So like I said, number 1 is this 40-inch TV, and number 2 is the back glass. So just specify coordinates relative to that first one, because that is configured as my primary display. So basically the back glass is going to start at coordinate 1080, because going to the right is positive, you're moving positive. And there's 1080 pixels wide for the TV, so that's where that starts. So I will Alt-Tab back to this config thing. Now what I was saying was, I actually configured mine for 3 screens. Here are the settings I used for the back glass and DMD. Let me show you what mine looks like real quick. So I'll fire it up. I'm just gonna click OK to done out of here. Go back to Explorer, and then I'm going to double click on this Pinball Arcade exe. Bring it up for you. And I should probably turn off the lights like I do when I play, because it'll look a little better. Let me run over and do that. Okay. So you'll see here's the Pinball Arcade. And on my monitor, you can kind of see the Arcooda back glass, and that lower one is the DMD. Looks like there's a lot of space between the two, but there's really not that much space, so that'll kind of fix itself. Okay, that's not what I expected. I must have changed something here because I did not have that kind of space in there. So let me quick look at those settings. Alright. So that's interesting. I don't know how this got to 825. It should have been like 725, I'm guessing. So I only made the other one 710 high. That's weird. Anyway, I'll change it to 725 and click done here. And I'll launch Pinball Arcade cabinet back. Alright, now you can see there's less space between the two. And I think when you actually load up one, won't look like any space, because it seems like they go a little further than what you do. So I'm going to go here, turn the volume down so you can hear me. Alright, so go to Arcade. Just go into Adam's Family here. Alright. So, as you can see, I made my back glass a little smaller, and the DMD is pretty big. Kind of got spoiled by the big DMD on Pinball FX3, so that's roughly the same size as what I have mine on there, which is fairly sizable. Now I like the right aspect ratio though for the back glass, so I kept that. I think it's a 4x3. That's what I sized it to, and it seems about right. Now the DMD aspect ratio is like a 4:1 according to Pinball FX. So I think I used the same coordinates I used for that here. So I made, my only complaint here is I couldn't use the whole screen for whatever reason. Stupid Windows 10. With the software, it's not overwriting that, so I'm intentionally avoiding those last, I think it's 30 pixels where the taskbar is, because even if you do them, if you have something, the DMD or the backglass show up there, you still see the taskbar, and it gets cut off, your DMD or whatever. So that's my only real complaint. The only way around that, the only way I've seen it go full screen, is if you make the back glass size the full monitor. Then for some reason it fills the whole screen. Now, a couple of reasons why I have my setup like this and not either a really big back glass, or the other option, like I was saying, you could have the 2 monitor version versus the 3. The 2 is kind of nice in one respect, because you just set the coordinates for the back glass, and then it sizes everything. It puts it in DMD, and it shows you a little place for your speakers and stuff. But the only problem there is the DMD is kind of small. So I like the big one. Like I said, it kind of got spoiled from the Pinball FX size of DMD. So I chose to play around and discovered that the 3-screen thing works with just 2 screens, so that's what I'm doing. Now I could have made the back glass big too and had it the DMD on top of the back glass. But the difference here between this software in cabinet mode and like the Pinball FX is, in Pinball FX you've got a static back glass. There's no animation, there's no logic there. It's just a JPEG. You can put whatever you want. In fact, it doesn't come with any. You set your own. This software comes with the back glass, and it's not just a picture. It's actually an animated back glass. Now, in cases like this machine, the Addams Family, there's nothing on it, the back glass. It's just the image. So it wouldn't matter if you put the DMD on top of it. But a lot of the other ones, the older ones, the ones in the late 80s that had the, like the couple line 7-segment display bars with your scores in them, if they're all over the place in the pinball, then what they do is they don't use the DMD, but then they just put it on the back glass, and it's animated. I mean, it's updated as your score changes. So I'll go back. I'll give you an example here. Class of 1812. Let's see. What the heck is this? Class. Why don't I see it? Oh, there it is. It's right there in front of me. Class of 1812. Alright. Now this one doesn't use the DMD, so it just stays with that Arcooda logo the whole time. But you can see it's got the scores and stuff in that little, old school DMD. It's sort of like a 7-segment display, but they also have all the letters of the alphabet, so I guess it's more than 7 segments. But you know what I mean. It's like it's a non-standard DMD. So if you were to put your DMD on top of that, the actual DMD, which just says Arcooda Pinball Arcade here, you'd be blocking out the animated back glass, which has your score in it. So you don't want to do that, and I don't want to be reconfiguring the monitors for every single pinball. It would be cool if you could do that, but I don't think the software lets you do that. You just set it once, and everything's got to work that way. So my solution was to make a smaller image for the back glass. Kept it the 4:3 aspect ratio, and then I made my big DMD underneath it. So, just a note here about the controls. Now, I'm using the Legends Gamer Pro. So when I first went to run the software, when I installed it was yesterday, I went to try to configure it because my controls weren't working, and none of these settings were working. So none of this stuff worked for the controls. I don't know why. Wasn't really too concerned because I just instead used the keyboard side, and I used, you may already be familiar with it, Joy2Key, to map keyboard or my joystick controls, in this case the Gamer Pro, to the keyboard, and then I'm actually using left shift for the flipper, right shift for the other flipper. So I configured Joy2Key to use that, and that really solves that problem nicely. So anyway. But yeah, now there are other ones like Black Knight 2000 here. That one's got, well, you can see the original picture here of what the machine look like, and it has that smaller DMD there. But with mine, now in this case, they didn't keep the DMD on their back glass. Instead, they actually put it on the DMD. So that's what mine looks like for that. I just made, you know, I got my small back glass, large DMD. So that looks nice. What else? Now, I remember reading on their website for this Arcooda software that there was an issue with the 2-monitor version of Scared Stiff, in that the DMD on the 2-monitor version didn't work. It just stayed a black box. So, you know, that wouldn't be a big deal if the game weren't worth playing, but, you know, this is a good game, so that's another good reason to use the 3-monitor configuration, because as you can see, you know, the DMD for the 3-monitor version, 3-screen I should say, because I only have 2 monitors, works just fine. You know, I got the DMD underneath it, my smaller one back glass above it. But yeah, I don't have any issues with performance on mine. I don't know the specs on my computer. I can look them up though and put it in the comments or something. But like I said, I got this PC in late 2019, so it's already, you know, 2 years and a few months old. And this thing plays just fine, just like my Pinball FX and Pinball Arcade for Steam play. Very smooth, 1080p, 60 frames per second. Alright, I'm gonna go into pause and exit this one. Yes, go back. So that's pretty much my setup, and I could show you the other way, but I don't know, maybe just take my word for it about the two monitor version. But I love this thing. You know, I took a day off of work just to sit here and play this, and like specifically these ones here at the top: Black Knight 2000, Cyclone, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Those are probably my biggest 3. Terminator. Judgment Day. So I thought this was really easy to set up. You know, it's a lot of money to put out at one time, $499, and you gotta, you know, send it away to Australia for it. But let me tell you, they were really quick in shipping it. I mean, I think I ordered this on like, it's either Wednesday or Thursday last week. And I know they're in a different time zone. I did it at like 10 o'clock at night, and like 20 minutes later they're sending me, you know, DHL tracking number. They've already shipped it out. And it got in the US over the weekend, and it was actually delivered yesterday, which was Monday. So took a last minute vacation day to play around with how I want to set up my screen and get all my controls working with that joy to key mapping here, and played quite a bit today, so that was fun. Judgment Day. Direct hit. Don't move. It's kind of hard to play while I'm holding a phone at the same time. I'm not very good at the video editing, so that's why this is all just one take. But anyway, I just wanted to give you a little information about this, because I think it's a great software package. I don't regret buying it. You know, it's a lot of money. Like I said, it's a lot of money to put out at one time, $499, but 76 games. So if you didn't have them before, 76 tables. They're listed on their website. It's arcoodapinballarcade.com, I believe, or something like that. But if you don't already have them, 76 games becomes like $6.58 per pinball table to add up to that $500. Let's see. I'm gonna exit out of here. Whoops. Exit, yes, and then back out. So let me quickly see the list here I got. The games, but like I said, it's on the website. You can kind of look into it yourself. But it's got all the Williams ones that were on Pinball FX 3, except for, of course, Indiana Jones, which just came out. But the other, whatever, 20 or so tables, they're all here. It's got all the Gottlieb ones from the Steam version. Well, most of the Gottlieb ones. It doesn't have Wipeout. And there's maybe one or two other Gottliebs. It doesn't have any of the Stern tables that are available on the Steam version of Pinball Arcade. So unfortunately, you're gonna have to play those without cabinet mode. But this cabinet mode it's really good. It's not the same as it's in this respect. It's better than the FX3 cabinet mode, like, because it's sort of a true cabinet mode. You know how you've got all those weird camera angles. Well, here's one that's on FX3, Hurricane. And, well, here's the one. There's subtle differences. I kind of go up towards the top because that's where you see it the most. But I'll kind of switch the camera angles. Oops, I have to start the game first. So there's sort of a zoomed in cabinet mode. And there's what you see a little more. And it seems like they sort of stretch it three-dimensionally for these other camera angles. But they're all good for cabinet mode. You got the Super 3D. See the more flat one where everything's bigger, then just a little more 3D stretch to the other three. But they're all good, like I said. As far as now, if the colors sort of look a little washed out, it's actually my TV. TVs are never as good as monitors, of course. I mean, the monitor has some really crisp colors on it. I don't know, you probably can't tell that either, but they're much better than my TV. So even though this is a good TV, it's a Samsung, it's a 2007 model TV, which is actually better than the ones you get today, but still doesn't look as good as a monitor as far as, you know, video games, computer software. Let's see. Alright. So even though some of these Williams tables are duplicated between this and Pinball FX3, I'll probably play them on here because it's got the nicer camera cabinet mode. So yeah, I hope that answers some of your questions. I highly recommend this Arcooda Pinball Arcade software, especially if you don't have many of these. If you got into, you know, video pinball sort of late in the game after that June 30th, 2018 deadline where they stopped selling all the Williams tables on Steam, then it's a great thing to pick up. I mean, to get all these classics you grew up with. You know, every table on here is a recreation of an actual pinball table you can find in an arcade in the 80s and 90s. So, good stuff. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll see what I can do to answer them. But very happy with this purchase. I said, my only real complaints are some of the, you know, I can't get the quite perfect setup with my screens, but aspect ratio was important to me, and a big DMD was important to me, so that's what I accomplished. And one config for all tables. It'd be nice if you could do them, like I said, a config per table, but they don't have that, so. Yeah, so if you have any questions, post them in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.